Alright, so OBS was acting up. I actually played a bit without you guys. Full saves. So I meant to record it, but I accidentally was pressing F6, which is my recording button, instead of F5, which is my quick save button. So I was going on a rant. So the absolute most useful combat stone in the entire game, most people don't know, is the hidden attribute of the Steed Stone. So under its description, it states that it removes the weight of armor, but that's not what it does. It removes the encumbrance of all equipment, making armor weigh nothing. The encumbrance of armor. So the weight of armor applies for two things. It determines how much stamina affects your. It determines how much stamina affects how much your power attacks affects stamina, how much your sprint affects stamina. Just anything that uses stamina takes more stamina, the more weight you have on. Because of that, the reason why sheathing your weapon makes you run faster, but as a mage it doesn't, is because the gear you're wearing. So the weapon counts as armor when equipped. The weight of a weapon that determines how it affects you in combat is completely and utterly determined specifically by the weight of the weapon. Because when it's equipped, it counts kind of like a shield, in a sense. But a shield is considered armor, and so is a sword. But removing the encumbrance means it removes the weight effect. So, another thing it's affected by is noise. Noise is determined directly by armor. If you're wearing nothing, then your sneak's going to be at its highest effectiveness. But having the Steed Stone that removes the encumbrance effect, while you still are technically having hundreds of pounds of gear and heavy armor on you, you are not encumbered by it, meaning it technically weighs nothing as you're wearing it. Because of that, what determines attack speed is weapon type, weapon weight. But in actuality, how it calculates that is through encumbrance. So without weapon encumbrance, due to it being equipped, it technically doesn't weigh anything. Because of that, you can swing a, let's say, 10-pound Imperial sword just as fast as you could swing your fist. Specifically, any sword. A good representation would be a bound sword. Bound swords have no weight. They count as a spell. But the truth is, any sword swings just as fast as a bound sword as long as you have the Steed Stone equipped. You can also do more power attacks because you have less weight equipped. Simply equipping a weapon causes your weight to be increased. Causes your encumbrance to be increased, meaning you have higher stamina cost and you move slower. But because of the Steed Stone, you could have a Warhammer, and you could have a Warhammer out and simply run just as fast if you had your fist out, or if you had your weapon sheathed. So the Steed Stone is kind of essential for builds that require lots of power attacks, shield bashing, running. So the Steed Stone is the greatest melee. Well, the thing is, it doesn't just affect melee; it affects bow draw speed. The reason being is because bow draw speed is determined by weapon weight. Well, how it calculates weight again is incompetence. Because of that, a 30 because of that, there's absolutely no difference between heavy bows and normal bows. Because the difference between heavy, let's say an orcish bow and a glass bow, is the weight. The greater the weight, the longer the draw time. But the greater the weight, the more the damage naturally. But you can ignore the weight of the bow and just have a typical arrow draw speed as if you had a bound bow. There's a bound weapon for battle axe, warhammer, sword, dagger, and bow. Another thing most people don't know is one-handed actually determines bonus to one-handed weapons. By putting perk points into one-handed skill tree causes you to have an increase in dagger damage. Daggers are also affected by all the perks except for the fact that they don't have a specific bonus. They don't get the bleed bonus, they don't get the bonebreaker bonus, and they don't get the crit bonus of swords. But they do get the backward attacks. They get all this bonus. But the best part is they get the dual wielding effects, which can give for a total of 40% and 45%, if I'm not mistaken, of attack speed. Daggers already have the fastest attack speed in the game, locked on top of Steedstone, which basically gives them the absolute fastest. Because the whole bonus of the Steedstone is the bound weapons, is that they have the base damage of Daedric weapons, but you aren't able to upgrade them. Uh, if you guys do actually watch my content, at this point in time, the most popular video on my channel, which has an overwhelming 30 likes compared to, overwhelming 30 views compared to the 6 views on one of my CFDs videos, which is my highest rated one. The one beneath that has 2 views and the rest have 0. It has 30 views and 2 likes. The other one I have only has 1 like, and technically has 2 views, but ironically one of them is myself, because I got a comment, and it forced me to watch the video, because I was on PC. I don't know if it's different with phones or something like that, but it basically forced to open the video, which I don't do, which is why all my videos have fucking 0 views. I don't really give a shit. The whole point of my channel is just to share my experiences and discoveries, because, weirdly enough, I seem to come across these facts really weird. I have an extremely... So, the reason behind me noticing so many things so easily is I have an extremely good internal clock. And I have a very short-term eidetic memory. It's not perfect, it's nowhere near photographic, but I can almost, to the shorter the time frame from the event and how little I have to go back, can actually make my thought processes extremely fast. Because of that, I can get things down almost to the decimal. When I say something like 0.7, and it was just something that just happened, it's probably going to be under a difference of a decimal. If not, it's not even going to be a whole decimal off. But anyways, the thing is I can picture a short scene in my mind and replay it, and I can kind of set my internal clock, because my internal clock's almost always going. Because of that, if I really wanted to, I can wake up every 10 minutes, basically whenever I please. But it's just kind of like an alarm setting, or a stopwatch for me. It's not perfect, and it's nothing particularly special, but it is different. These guys are stronger now, I actually need them. something. I have 40 points. I can actually get crit. That's great. Crit damage is probably the best thing I can use for the boss. In my opinion, Steed Stone is the hardest stone to get in the game. It's surrounded by bandits, and if you're too high of a level, bandit chiefs spawn, and which means for a period of time you're actually barred off from getting it. Because bandit chiefs for a period of time in the game are extremely overwhelming. Because they're a higher grade of enemy. When they start spawning in, you're not actually supposed to be facing them right away. How enemy AIs work in the game and how their difficulty is set is your actual settings difficulty basically means you do less damage and enemies do more damage. But in actuality, it's basically giving you a weakening effect. So there's technically a defensive stat. Enemies just the damage they do is just multiplied by a percent. And what happens with you is that your damage is just reduced by a percent. That's difficulty basing. But actual enemy AI difficulty basing is based off of two things: player level and base level. A wolf starts at level 5, but every single level, so it will stay at level 5 until the player's level 6. After the player surpasses the level of the wolf, it gets 0.4 levels every single time the player levels up. Giant starts at level 50, bandits start at level 10. But it's different for other bandits. I'm sorry, normal bandits start at level, if I'm not mistaken, they start at level 5. Bandit Marauders start at level 10, or like, well, I think it's like something like level 8 or level 9, maybe level 10. And Bandit Chiefs start at level, I think level 15. But the difference between this is slightly different than you might think. The thing is that's its base level. Certain enemies don't spawn immediately, like Bandit Chiefs. But Giants are always there. Giants have a base level of 50. The game is definitely going to be merciless if you're looking for trouble. Because of this, just because it's level 15 doesn't mean you need it at level 15. You need a wolf at level 1, because it's almost impossible unless you purposefully grind to actually meet any enemies besides the 2 wolves you practically meet on the way to Riverwood until after leaving. And those wolves, if you do everything properly, those wolves are going to most likely bring you to level 2. They only send 1 wolf after you. That is the only enemy you should meet on your way to Riverwood. Unless you somehow manage to rob a bunch of things and to meet the hired thugs. Hired thugs can be found at any point in time. If I'm not mistaken, their levels naturally at I think, level 12. But you can meet them at any point in time, as long as you just robbed enough gold. As long as you stole, I think it's something like 350 or 250 golds, they'll immediately send them on you. But they have the skill levels of Bandit Marauders. Facing 3 Bandit Marauders is insane for a lower level character. I mean, facing 3 Bandit Marauders is harder than facing a Bandit Chief. Because while Bandit Chief's a few levels higher, the difference is you're fighting 3 enemies. They can attack, defend, and guard each other, even if they are meant to it. I know I'm going right off AIs now. Back to the main point. Steed Stone gives you a bonus 100k weight, removes the encumbrance of all gear, whether it's weapons, armors, or special gear. But it only removes the encumbrance. You can still be overweight, and being over encumbered is a weight category. Being encumbered is a weight effect. Because of that, the heavier your armor, the slower you are. So, an easy way to explain it is sheathing your sword makes, see that stamina cost? Now when I do with this out, it's significantly faster. Now what happens if I unequip armor? Unequip treasures, armor. Mage backpack weighs 1. Steel armor. I run. Now that is very low. Now if I sheath sword, it's even lower. See, this, actually, if I even take off the mage backpack and the rings, if I take off the mage backpack and the rings, this this is the stamina cost I would have having the steed stone with full gear. That's including sword and all. And this is the cost it would be power attack. It would be even less than that, because I have technically a sword out, which counts as weight. That is the bonus of a steed stone. But the thing most people don't realize is not only is that effect happen, you also have to count the fact that steed stones. You gotta count the fact that steed stones also, what's it called? It, it reduces weapon encumbrance, meaning this sword not only no longer reduces my stamina and costs less for power attacks, I can attack faster because it has technically no weight. Because of that, it is overwhelmingly better to an insane degree. You attack faster no matter what weapon you use, whether it's as long as it's a weapon from the warrior skill tree, even if it's a thief skill tree, as long as you use any kind of weapon, bow, dagger, sword, battle axe, warhammer, war axe, great sword, even like unique weapons that have their own category, bows, they all get the bonus from the steed stone. You don't know what this means until you've used Stendar's hammer, which weighs fucking 100. It weighs 100. It weighs 100 freaking points. It attacks so slow. It is so slow. You could attack a normal warhammer, orcish warhammer, maybe 5 times before that thing finishes attacking once. But with the steed stone, it's no slower. It's no slower than it's just take. It is technically, but that's because it's a bit slower than any other warhammer because material also determines. Using a higher grade material does reduce, but that's only to a certain extent because bound weapons, if you count bound weapons are Daedric weapons. They're Daedric weapons. You technically summon a Daedric weapon. Because of that, its attack speed, even if its weight 0, is actually slower than the attack speed of a steel sword. Anything with a lesser weight than Daedric, but Daedric swords don't actually have that high of a weight class. Surprisingly enough. I think Daedric sword has a 18 or 20 pounds, which is only twice as much as a steel sword. But it's not a communal effect either. It's actually reduced. The higher the weight category, the less the difference between the weights. Something like 100. But I mean, when you count the fact that a orcish warhammer weighs somewhat like 23, and then you have Stendar's hammer, which is 100. Its materials also, it's also a unique grade weapon, giving it a significantly higher. I can't get the map anymore. I think it's because I have Anniversary Edition. There used to be a map of Dragon Barriers. Oh, I remember. I remember now. The map of Dragon Barrels is not actually here. It is in Delphine's place underneath the tavern. I love the fact that you can read her name, and you can also, if you really want to, see her face and recognize her from the tavern. Yep. So I have to make it there before level 10. So I'm not able to use skill tree until I make it, until I get the steed zone. Because level 10 is when Bandit Chief starts spawning. And I won't be able to make it past Solitude because I have to go right past the Bandit camp. And it's guaranteed to have a Bandit Marauder, but if I hit level 10, I'm pretty sure it has a Bandit Chief. Which is significantly harder to deal with. Especially when you just barely are supposed to meet them. You're not supposed to be enemies only after a certain period of time. Also, I gotta level up archery before I level up. 'Cause 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 I where I'm walking is because I want to go in here. So I'm only going to get. Actually, I'm not even going to grab the book since I'm so close. I'm going to. Well, it doesn't matter because I get the money back for free. How much do I have? 1,600. Gold wise, I'm going to need 7,000 maybe. Anyways, most people don't know this, but there's a book here, which is the same book you would find in Windhell, and the I can't remember exactly which business show. Black Air Volume 2. Anyways, if you really want to see how strong enemies are, if I'm not mistaken, there is a command to check character stats. So basically, NPC stats are slightly different. NPCs have base health, mana, and stamina points. Then afterwards, they have a skill level into specific ones. So for certain familiars, they like Jizargo, he has 100 points in destruction, meaning he's technically level 100 destruction. And also, they are given random perks. So even if they haven't gotten the perks beforehand, they could technically have perks from a higher level. Which goes to show that technically they don't gain perks the same way we do. According to their AI format, how they would gain perks would be through something like enlightenment, which is like a sudden realization, granting a profound understanding of a topic. Like having a bunch of math equations in your head and then seeing the answer to how to do it, and then all those equations almost immediately get solved in your head. That is an epiphany. A bunch of seemingly redundant information being completely and utterly solved due to one piece or due to a missing piece of the puzzle. It's like having a piece of a puzzle, having all these random pieces, and then having this one major piece. That's basically what investigators do. If they get the whole picture, it goes from a puzzle, and one slight, maybe misspoken word causes an epiphany in the detective, causing them to completely understand the whole. Anyways, I'm nowhere near strong to fight this dragon, so I'm going to do what I always do. The dragon should spawn now. There it is. It spawns the fastest if you just walk in there. Anyways. Hey boy.
Fucking the picture of Jack, it just extended massively with the words "blow me."
I didn't watch it because I was already in the middle of recording. I'm recording right now. I'm playing fucking Skyrim. You ended up messaging me. I told the
It's a mashup between the Payday soundtrack and fucking Death Grips.
oh my god, this is
I imagine Jack never talks. The one time he does talk, he just tells me. Do you have anything to say to your creator before you strike him down? Blow me.
that reminds me of the Doom Eternal second
Yeah.
the second
Yeah, that's
is that what it's based off? Oh my god.
It's
Bitch.
funny because Jack in Payday 2 talks via fucking pre-recorded answering machine lines on a tape cassette recorder.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm gonna stream you it.
Oh, it's so fucking hot.
Watch my views, it'll cool you down.
Okay.
So I was explaining to Chad about the glory of the Steed Stone, the greatest fucking stone in the game. Oh, that is a troll. I don't want anything to do with that fire breath shell.
Kill.
Bitch. 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 So,
Ow.
yeah, I'm kind of pushing my luck here. I don't really give a shit though. Anyways, but let me explain the Steed Stone's effect. It's pretty simple. It removes equipment encumbrance and gives 100 points. But what equipment encumbrance does is the higher the encumbrance, basically the weight of your equipment you have equipped, whether it's weapons, armor, or like gear such as rings, it increases the cost of stamina. It makes you move slower, and it makes your attacks, like power attacks, cost more stamina, and it makes your attacks slower.
Isn't it? Absorb the dragon's power.
So the specificality though is this affects every weapon in the game. So technically you can make just about every weapon attack the same exact speed. But the
So
greatness
what
of
you're telling me is if your ass was buck naked and you had a sword, you'd be swinging it as fast as you can.
faster, because the fact the sword weighs 10 pounds I have equipped. But if I have Seed Stone, it technically weighs nothing. Basically, it would attack as fast as if it weighed nothing. I would be literally swinging it like a toothpick. That is the greatest.
Fuckers in Dark Souls fucking wear nothing and just
But
wield that fucking sword.
this is why the Steed Stone breaks it. Because the whole reason behind not wearing heavy armor and going light armor, and why people say light armor is supreme, is your natural walking speed can compare to like heavy armor sprinting speed. But I walk faster than people in light armor with the Steed Stone because my armor technically weighs nothing.
Yo,
My sword attacks are faster.
Damn, he fast as fuck.
My sword attacks are faster than daggers. I sprint faster than naked people who have their weapons unequipped. I'm quite literally have the greatest armor in the game defensive wise. And I can attack more than somebody wearing armor in general. Because here's the thing. See this power attack? See how it takes up almost 40% of my stamina? If I unequip all this stuff, actually I didn't even have full heavy armor equipped. That took like 20%. But now you have to count the fact that my sword is going to be reduced even further because my sword weighs some. Wait, yeah.
Imagine it'd be funny if like everyone went collectively deaf when the fucking elders up in Rothgar fucking yelled. So they had no idea what the fuck they said.
That's fucking great. I think did somebody sneeze? Oh, not me, not me, not me. Huh, I guess it was just my imagination. Oh, that sounds fucking great.
I can take the piss out of Skyrim's story. I could have written Skyrim's story. That's how okay it is.
Honestly,
you play Skyrim for the experience and the exploration and the fucking build.
Not really, because there's literally over 1,000 quests. There's hundreds of quests in Skyrim.
Please, traveler, go to this orc camp and retrieve my chickens. Kills an entire orc lineage. Thank you, traveler.
Actually, there is one similar to that. If you go to an orc encampment, this orc lost his tribal weapon, so you go to help him to take it back from the giant. And ironically,
this entire orc race for me, traveler.
Let me finish, please. So basically, what happens is after killing the giant, which this guy couldn't kill the giant, which was why he enlisted your help. But it was supposed to be his challenge, so he attempts to kill you, even though he couldn't kill the giant, in which you just maimed and slaughtered. So he attempts to kill you, who just killed the giant, in an attempt to silence all witnesses, so he could take it as his own achievement. The guy who killed the monster that he could not kill.
If he just paid you to keep quiet, we all could have made it happy, but no.
That's the hilarious part of it. But it's actually a unique weapon. So it's an orcish warhammer, and its unique enchantment literally makes it just attack faster. It has a faster attack speed.
It's a fucking hammer power up.
It's 33% faster than other hammers. Which doesn't seem like much, but like considering non-Steed Stone. But here's the best part. So greatswords are not, without any weight, are not 33% faster than warhammers. So with the Steed Stone, that warhammer is faster than a greatsword, which is the fastest two-handed weapon in the game, besides the Daedric weapon that you can only get after level 80 Conjuration.
I can equate the feeling to the first time you get a fucking super sledge in Fallout.
Toss the
Keep
dragon
in
there.
mind, the Super Sledge is a rocket-powered sledgehammer.
So my favorite Warhammer in this entire game is called Snendar's Hammer. It's one of the community content ones.
There's no
And
clue,
it
but there
so
must
to
be
explain
more
how
to
heavy it is, the heaviest
Something
Warhammer in the entire game that's in the base game
happened when the dragon
is like
died.
34 pounds, the Dragonbone Warhammer. Do you know how heavy the Stendar's hammer is?
Sure.
100.
Dragonborn.
Oh,
What do you know about the Dragonborn? So
they
And
yelled it
do you
at
know
me.
the funnier part about that?
masters.
Because it's
way
a
of the
special
voice.
weapon, a
They
Daedric
live in
artifact, it
seclusion high on the
attacks
slope.
naturally slower than other weapons,
You've done by my right.
than
Well,
other
these
Warhammers.
I'll also we are
But the
Jarls
Steed Stone
look
just
the
makes it
same.
slightly slower than other Warhammers. Like, barely slower. Because of the fact that how this game determines statistics is it determines almost all of them in percentages and hard numbers. So by altering the hard numbers, you can alter the percentages. So by removing its weight, it's the amount of excess reduced speed is actually lowered to a great extent. So the actual difference in speed is negligible to an actual Warhammer.
Don't
Which is
mind
the
me just
whole.
going to kick Gabriel in the balls again.
This is Lydia. She wants to talk to me so I can become her, so she can become my housecarl, but I don't like her.
I don't either. All she does is follow me around and judge me.
I I just leave her to take care of my house and make food.
Maybe I wanted to kill those innocents, Lydia.
You seem awfully familiar. Since I'm at it, I might as well get a bonus to. You know what? I'll get a bonus to health. Magic. So I'm playing as an Imperial who has a higher chance of finding gold coins and a reduced chance of finding equipment. I have the Warrior Stone active. I'm still going Spell Sword like you asked me to. But the most overwhelming combo I've ever found with Steed Stone is Sword and Shield. Because it carries a particularly fast attack speed alongside the ability because shield bashes take reduced stamina with Steed Stone. And they don't encumber you nearly as much in combat. Because the whole problem is a shield, how fast you can
How
draw.
the fuck did I get a B?
Style. You killed him too fast. I don't even need to see the stream to know that.
I did the fucking circle nail trapping and killed him way too fast without the style required.
Called it.
I did the thing you told me to do and it fucked me.
I told you it's so much faster. I didn't
Yeah,
think you
but it
would
makes
take it.
style go poo poo.
Already been told you're not allowed. A woman.
It dies
She's like her.
immediately.
We are not welcome here in Whiterun.
No,
So we
you're
will
not
be in-
supposed to kill him that fast.
I just imagine the game developers, and it's you know that one Crash Bandicoot developer is like, no, this is not how you're supposed to play the game. Oh, that's so great. But do you know how broken I've made the Steed Stone? So the fastest two-handed weapon in the game is a weapon that has life steal. It's a Daedric artifact. It's a katana. More specifically, I think it's what's called a Daya katana, which is a form of two-handed curved sword forged through a similar method as a katana. And the, it's kind of fucked up because you know how you make the enchantment stronger? You have to kill people close to you. Straight up, you have to kill people you have a good relationship with. The best way to do it is to so here's the easiest way to make relationships and friends in Skyrim. So you can actually tell by a character's dialogues whether they're friendly or not. They'll always say something like "Fancy seeing you around here," or stuff like "My favorite drinking buddy." The easiest way to make a friend is if you meet someone, talk to them, typically a bigger, and give them one gold coin. They'll immediately speak to you in a kind light, and for a period of time, they're considered friends. You can murder them after that. The second one is if you go to certain homes, almost every single home has on them. If you give a person a bottle of alcohol, leave speech, and then talk to them again, they're friends. You can also kill those people. It's great, right?
Absolutely.
Don't ask why I know this. I may have spent too many times killing people.
Uh-huh.
You know, one time I installed a mod, and do you know what it did? It removed character
What did it do?
sexuality, and I murdered everybody. Like,
Oh.
everybody. Women, children, adults, parents, mothers. Even that,
Jesus
technically,
fuck.
you know something really fucked up? So, the seductive waitress outfit?
Yeah.
So, in Helga's bunkhouse, there's that girl there. She's only technically 13 because anybody over the age of adolescence, so 12, has an adult body. But only she has this effect. Meaning she is a 13-year-old teenager in a seductive waitress outfit due to her aunt wanting better
I'm
patronage.
turning my brain off so don't hear that.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. Be aware, I've murdered that hag a few times. In fact, the first person I kill, actual civilian I kill in the entire game, is a witch who murdered a hunter to steal his hut to use it for alchemy. And also, her three sisters are hag ravens, which use dark magic in order to turn themselves into bird-like monsters that demand human sacrifice. The simple effect of becoming one requires human sacrifice, like the heart of a human, and they use they're to put simple, the hag ravens and witches covenant are literally based off of like biblical things. Like they use goat's blood and stuff like that, like how satanic rituals are. They are the farthest thing from normal you can imagine. Anyways, I gotta go to Solitude to get to the Steep Stone.
Need a ride? Where do you want to go?
So the annoying part of getting the
Climb and
Steep
back, and
Stone
we'll be on.
is that you have to climb the mountains. There are
First time to
bandits just
Solitude?
about everywhere,
Beautiful old city.
and
Capital of Skyrim.
you may
Sure
find
you like it.
trolls. Not as hard as you might think, but if you're level 10 or higher, you'll meet a bandit chief. It's hard to kill bandit chiefs underneath level 13. So you're basically barred from getting the stone for 3 levels if you go anywhere over level 9. And that is if you put your perk points in properly and you upgrade your equipment alongside it, like how I do, how I get really good equipment early. One of my favorite undead slaying swords is the silver sword you get from fighting silverhand bandits. And the reason why is because it has the same base damage as a steel sword. If you want to know what its additional effect is, which counts as a random effect, which means you can actually still put an enchantment on it. You know what it is? It does double damage against undead, giving it the highest base damage. Comparable, well, the second highest base damage. Oh, fuck, you scared the shit out of me. Why so loud?
Sorry.
You see what?
I fucking destroyed Minos Prime and it was I looked at the score screen and it was like style 7000A.
Geez, you scared the absolute shit out of me with that out of nowhere loud fucking noise.
I'm sorry.
Ugh. But, I forgot where I was at. What did I just last say?
I don't know. You're
Um,
going to Solitude?
oh, so I remember. So the Silver Sword has 10 points of base damage, but when used against undead, it has 20 points. Do you want to know what else also has 20 points of base damage?
Me.
Daedric swords.
Oh,
Do you want to know how strong Daedric swords are?
no idea.
The only higher grade sword is Dragonbone swords. Do you want to know the difference between Daedric and Dragonbone swords? Dragonbone swords are
Sure.
significantly heavier than Daedric swords by multiple pounds. I think Daedric swords are like 18 or 20 pounds, while Dragonbone swords are, I think, up to 25 pounds. A significant difference. But you gotta count the fact that a silver sword weighs 10 pounds, which is only half the weight of a Daedric sword, if even, which makes it significantly faster. meaning it is overwhelmingly the best vampire and Draugr slaying sword you can Draugr and Dragon Priest slaying sword you can come across until you find Daedric, which is literally what which is something you may even use even after unlocking Dragonbone if you don't like the weight. Dragonbone is what you would use if you use two-handed weapons. Daedric's what you would use if you use one-handed weapons. So if you use one-handed weapons, you're going to use Daedric, not Dragonbone, meaning it can significantly be your main sword into the very end of the game. That is how ironically strong the Silver Sword is. Mind you, the Silver Sword has been in the game since the game was created in original Skyrim. And you, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually upgrade the Silver Sword. But you gotta count the fact that every point of upgrade you put into the Silver Sword is technically doubled when faced against undead, which means it's significantly higher. And the even better part is it gets double the bonus from your one-handed sword bonus. There's also a Silver Greatsword, which makes, ironically, actually, never mind, that's the best two-handed greatsword. That's the best two-handed greatsword in the game, too. Oh, that is fucking broken. I just realized that silver weapons are the best undead killing weapons in the entire game. Oh, that is really fucking broken. Oh, hey Koi, I just realized something. I misthought
Yeah, what?
something. Daedric weapons aren't the best undead slaying weapons or even Dragonbone in late game. Because the highest point you can get in Anniversary Edition is 100% bonus to melee damage. But I just thought about something. Technically, Silver Sword have double base damage, have double damage against undead. But what your how the multiplication pattern would work for the bonus to weapon is that it doubles the base stat. Technically, you would get 4 times the damage buff. Then, if you add on the sneak bonus to get a bonus of, I think it's 6 times damage. One more. I have to do a calculation real quick. I need my calculator. Koi, I may have just broken the game even further.
Okay.
Calculator. So
You
let's
break
do this.
Skyrim, I break Ultra Kill.
Well, this is just me breaking stat. These are already in the game, and I'm technically not abusing anything. I'm just using the mechanics to their full potential. So, 10 times 2. Okay. Then multiply this times 2. So, hey, Koi. Oh, wait, I didn't even do this properly. Wait, no, I did. Okay. So, times 6. Wait, yeah, times. Wait, no, this would be times 12. Because if you use the gloves, they give you double damage when backstabbing from the Dark Brotherhood. 12. Hey, Koi, guess how high I just made the damage of a silver sword completely unupgraded? Using one piece of equipment, the max one-handed skill tree on the damage bonus, and nothing, and using a silver sword. Oh, I forgot. Also putting put 2 points into the sneak tree. If you want to hear how high the damage is, Koi,
Sorry, I was fighting King Minnows.
if you want to hear how high the damage is.
Sure.
So the base damage when used against an undead is 20. Using these few things, it's gone up to 480 points. Mind you, you can
Okay.
upgrade it, which increases the base stat, increasing the percentage stat, then increasing the multiplication stat, also the double stat.
Alright. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If I'm mistaken about this calculation, This is the bare minimum. If I do it a different method, which might also be the method, it would be 10 times 2, then times 12, then times 2. No, it would go about the same way. Okay, so either way, it's guaranteed to be 480 points of damage. Oh, that is fucking broken. And then, Koi, I just thought of something. If you count the Steed Stone,
Hello.
which gives you the highest grade sneak possible, because your armor makes absolutely no noise, it's as if you're sneaking around naked, without any weapons equipped. Also, take a look at my stamina cost, Koi. I have Steed Stone, right? So, hey, Koi, check out my. Are you watching my stream at the moment?
Yeah, I was just
Watch my stamina bar on the bottom right.
endlessly practicing against minnows. Look at him go. Look at that stamina. He keeps doing that hard shit.
Did
Wow.
you see how fast I was striking my sword?
That was pretty good.
This is my
there
favorite
a
move
funny
to do.
shout that makes your fucking swings faster?
Yes, there is, but it can only be used when there are two shouts that can technically be used. So there's Dragon Aspect, which increases your base damage, attack speed, and
Dual wield
armor
swords
points.
become
So it
blenders.
increases your base damage, attack speed, armor points, and reduces the cost of some other shouts.
Dual wield become blender.
Guess what? There's actually skill for that. So there are two in one-handed. There's something called dual wield attacks. So the first point makes it 20% faster. The second point brings it up to 45% faster.
You cut to my game. Flesh Prison is having a stroke. I'm looking at the time so far. 50 seconds. Yeah, so that saw thing you did, it's really good against big targets. So if you stick a magnet to the side of Flesh Prison and start just unloading saws at them, they'll endlessly cycle, which does a fuckload of damage.
I told you it would work. Ironically, we found that off of Gabriel. I noticed it was coming into contact. So I was going through my memories and I was taking a better look at what was happening this morning. And I realized I figured out why it was coming into contact with him. When it was placed so far away from him, it was actually hitting his wing. That was what was doing damage.
Yeah, so this tactic is really good against big targets.
Yeah. So Gabriel, if you actually stuck it, so the reason why it worked was you stuck it in his shoulder, like the very upper part of his shoulder, and that let it come barely scratch into contact with his wing. And especially when he moved around the saw blade for moving, they had a higher chance of hitting his wing.
So save that tactic for big bosses because it's way
Like
more reliable.
Minos' corpse, the boss for basically just not V2 and Minos Prime. That's literally it. Just not those, because it can technically be used against Gabriel because he has a slightly larger hitbox.
I mean, you could also trick the bosses by putting a saw blade trap on the floor and just
V2 can be affected by that, but the problem with Minos is he jumps into the air, so it's practically just not useful against Minos.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about something too. V2 sprints really far around. He also slides and flashes. I know something. It might be possible to stick him as well. But another thing. So the more saw blades you put in, the larger the range they go out. So if you stick it in, you only put in 2 or 3 saw blades, it's going to have a significantly smaller range of effect. Meaning you'll have a much higher likelihood of hitting smaller enemies.
Hello, Prime Minos.
And remember this, I didn't even record our earlier session. I've just been going through my memories while reading as in boredom. That's really fucking boring. I'm thinking about what the fuck I want to do. I mean, like, I can speak to the Greybeards and get the Whirlwind Shout. I don't need that. I can also get the Firebreath Shout. I don't need that. Clear Sky Shout. Don't need that either. But they also give me random stones. But I don't need stones in general. I need
See,
is
I prefer this game over Devil May Cry because in that game you gotta, do a blender of different movements. And I'm sure they get a lot easier with practice, but like, my god. Okay, so to execute this move, you need to do WWSS, right, left click. Okay, now do that 30,000 times in conjunction with a ton of other combos. And then you get to Dante. Okay, now juggle several different styles alongside it.
I mean that's most Devil May Cry games, except for DMCX. But holy fuck was that
here,
edgy and American.
here, I just fucking gun. You see why I prefer it.
Anyways, if you're wondering why my stamina goes out so fast, even though I basically completely removed Hero 8, the reason why is because I only have 3 points of stamina. Yeah, because I had to focus on Magicka because you wanted me to run spell for it. Anyways, I have to buy just a shield for safekeeping. Would you like to see me stun lock an enemy to death?
Sure.
Do I
Sorry,
have
I'm just admiring that they actually added textures to the coins. If they land, you can actually see the texture and like the engravings on the coin now. It used to just be a black fucking circle.
what the coin? Oh, the engraving on
Yeah,
the coin.
yeah. When it landed on the ground, it was untextured as fuck, and now it isn't.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe V1 uses the excess blood he collects to make coins or some shit.
He just has a coin printing factory inside of him.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of something. So in war, they like doing something which is where they print fake currencies and then attempt to inflate other currencies' economics. And he's a war machine.
Yeah.
So he's leaving money along the battlefield for people to pick up and attempt to spend to break their economy.
I can't wait for the lore to discuss whether or not V1 was responsible for killing humanity.
I really want to fucking know. Because
I
remember,
really hope not.
but here's the thing: his first order objective is
Find a weapon.
no. His first order objective when he's first getting booted up is it's
Find a weapon.
no. Shut the fuck up. It's
That's what it says.
no, no, it isn't. The first order objective when B1 is actually booting up, before he even spawns in, when you're calibrating your settings, it says blood is fuel. No, it's earth is dead, blood is fuel, hell is full. So there are two possible outcomes. Hell stole all the blood to spawn demons, in which you're stealing the blood back to charge yourself. Or two, V2 killed all the demons. V2 or V1 killed all the demons. And what they did was, well, V1 killed all the humans, just trying to heal himself. Or maybe they had him set to some like Skynet directive where he just had to eliminate all threats to humanity and determine humanity was the threat. But either way, the specific order is he needs blood. His whole order is to get blood, to never run out of blood. That is his whole directive. That's the reason why he's slaughtering his way through hell. You can infer.
Yeah, but his fuel like only goes down when he takes damage, though. So if he really needed blood, he could just
But how do
do
we
it
know
until
that?
he's topped off.
Because you got to count the fact that he's only actually going through hell in a matter of minutes in actual time frame. Because considering it, Ultra Kill is the name of the game. So you can therefore understand that V1's technical skill level would be at constant Ultra Kill, meaning he's so good that maybe he's killing things so fast that he's overhealing, basically overstocking blood to heal himself. So maybe what's happening is when he's taking damage, he's healing blood, but also if he's not taking blood after a period of time, kind of like a vampire, he just slowly uses it up. You got to count the fact that maybe it just takes a long time. But again, a long time is not an eternity. He can't survive forever without blood. So maybe he murdered all of humanity after
Are
being
you
given the
down
order to
for
heal.
Sven, or do you want to wait?
So Sven's broken and it won't let me record it. When I tried recording it, it broke my capture.
Kind of.
And also, we couldn't get it to work.
That's fine.
Anyways, I'm just chilling around. I'm just murdering people. Apprentice Necromancer. I'm here to mount and go my way up here to kill you.
I am feeling a little doom eternally. I'm feeling kind of violent.
Is that it? That's your best.
I proceed to heal every bit of damage. Nothing?
You think no. That's all you got.
If I had a shield, she wouldn't even be able to use magic on me. I would stun lock the shit out of them. Sweet, Amulet Mar. Ooh, I have his shield now. Great to be used against mages. Because the weakest mage is a mage that isn't able to cast spells. Weakest Dragonborn is the Dragonborn that's too far on the ground to be shooting shouts. Do you know the easiest way to deal with the Ebony Warrior?
Wow.
To stun lock him and put him on the ground. He can't be actually stunned, but he can be thrown on the ground. When he's on the ground, he's forced into animation to get up. Anyways, my whole new goal is going to be to walk around Dawnstar until I find the Silver Hand base, because I don't quite remember exactly where they're at. Because they have silver swords on
Need a
them.
ride? Where do you want to go? Climb and back, and we'll be
I
off.
think I found it on the map, but I'm not 100% certain.
Get up there.
Decoy drone, my favorite weapon in the game, paired with a sword. My go-to spell sword with the steep stone. It's called, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Wind Shear. I don't remember the exact name because it's been ages since I last used it. Oh, probably a year or so now. But it's a weapon that can only be gotten during the Dark Brotherhood questline when you go to assassinate the real Emperor on his ship. The mast, sorry, not the mast, port, the port bow, which is the port bow, which is that giant wood post that comes out from the front of the ship. Almost at the very end of it, there is a scimitar stuck in it. And so the scimitar has a 50% chance, unconditionally, to stagger opponents. What this means is every two sword hits, an opponent is staggered. So you know when you get power attacked and you kind of step back a bit? Kind of like stagger back, and you're not able to do anything, and you're stuck in the animation? That is stagger. And the thing is even if they block it with a shield, even no matter what, even if they're already staggered, they will get staggered again. Because of this, with an extremely fast attack speed, you can completely stun lock an opponent without a shield, which is why it's my go-to spell sword. Oh, oh, yeah, nieta. Fuck that. I found a fucking giant cat. Oh, it's Kynesgrove. Wait, no, this isn't Kynesgrove. What's the name of the place? Once the Imperials get the jagged crown from? I can't remember. Is that the Vigil of Cinder? I can't remember if this is where they're located.
Hold on, bruv. I need to empty my reserves. So you remember that fucking stalker mod?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to attempt to re-get it, and this time properly.
You might be sick. You're bloated with disease. The Vigilant of Stendar can help you, as long as you promise to
Damn
never
it,
assist
White, you
the
forgot to take your biotics.
Oh,
You're dying of multiple diseases.
I have one disease which reduces the effectiveness of melee weapons by 25%, which is why I'm doing reduced damage. You get it by getting power attacked by a large weapon, like great sword, battle axe, wherever. There's a few
Sorry, got
different
clocked in
diseases
the
you can
face
get.
by a hammer.
Well, I don't remember getting this. Well, that explains the reason why I'm not killing things as
You
effectively.
speak to a Vigilant. Stendar's light purify
You speak
of
to
your
a Stendar. You.
Anyways, now
You
I'm gonna
ever
switch back to
hated
doing
when
13
you
damage.
get home from work and your body relaxes and it's like, yep, I want to fucking exhume everything right now.
Yeah.
It's not like he's busy or anything.
So I'm thinking about something. Imperial Sword has a base damage of 10. Why is that 13? Oh, Koi, I just remembered something else. The higher your level into a specific set may give you random point bonuses. So let's say somebody with all the perks in a level 15 alchemy will not produce good enough potions compared to a level 100 alchemy with full stats. It's something most people don't quite know. The higher stat, even without perk bonuses, still gives you bonus. So I got 1 point of damage. Is what I'm looking for. Ow! Fucking frostbite spiders.
But for some reason,
The fuck are they?
Windows 11 automatically uses this free extraction program called Breezer,
Yeah,
which
I know
works
that.
just the same as any other thing like 7-zip, so I don't know why she was so butthurt about me fucking using something else.
It's actually because it doesn't do it as effectively. There is a difference between zip files when they're unzipped properly or not. And 7-zip can unzip files with a reduced amount of corruption. So when you improperly unzip a file, it has a chance to corrupt it.
Well, let's see if it corrupted it. Just chuck it into
That's most likely the reason why your maps that you've been using don't have the aren't get corrupted so often like your Call of Duty maps. Why you kept on thinking it was a virus. It probably wasn't a virus, it was probably fucking corrupted.
I don't know. She wants me to play this jank ass fucking game.
What's it called?
I like Stalker.
What's it about?
Alright, so basically,
I found it.
it's
I think.
based on the novel Roadside Picnic, in which the area around Chernobyl was visited by aliens. And they left a bunch of cool ass fucking artifacts that fuck with time and space, and a bunch of factions are super interested in the area. It's filled with mutated fuckers, weird shit that can kill you easily, and there's a giant government fucking kill zone around it. But a lot of factions go in anyway because they can secure a lot of money getting these artifacts out. The area itself is called the Zone, and you can choose between a number of factions that work with or against each other in order to try to find these artifacts first, all while managing and scavenging for supplies.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Death awaits you.
Stalker Banomaly.
All you got?
Little game is game.
That it?
How about game? How about that be game? Yeah?
That was the wrong button.
See, Metro's the same way. It's also based on books that I can't read because they are in Russian. Fuck!
The Metro games?
Yes.
Oh, I figured out why my carry weight is so high. I have an axe of Whiterun which weighs 25.
Hell, you can even randomize customize it. You want to play as the lawless bandits that fucking rob and kill everybody? Sure.
The fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about Stalker.
Oh.
Though what she wanted me to get was essentially a reshade and a overhaul mod that made the game not look like ass. Stalker is old. It's very old.
I don't know why people care so much about graphics.
Because this thing makes Fallout 3 look good.
Fallout 3 did look good.
Yeah, well, this somehow looks worse.
I never said it looked bad, I said it looked good. Why did these idiots leave the front door open?
Hey, I think I got it to work. Ooh. Let me look at
Anyways,
your
these idiot
beautiful
bandits left this
face.
door wide open, so I happened to close it for them. I'm too lazy to kill them.
I don't know how to anything. Is there like a tutorial that tells me what to do? Settings. Control. Keybinds. Movement, weapons. Well, I don't really have any weapons. Inventory is I.
I think it's in Dawn's Story, isn't it?
Oh god, who fucking dug a fucking hole in the fucking yard? So, Stalker and Metro, same developer, I think.
Okay.
I'm like, is this the reshade cat fucking had? I'll know for sure if I pull out a PDA, because that's how you access your map. You pull out this Game Boy looking head ass thing. Controls, keybinds. Trying to figure out where it is. The torch detector Geiger counter is 8. Clean mask is T. Drop item quick access. PDA is P. Okay. Do I have a PDA? I guess I don't. Peace. So basically, it's like the same game, but you can pick or randomize a scenario where, hey, you work for this faction and you're going after this area, or you're going here and you're looking for this. There isn't so much of a story as much as there is just experiences to be had.
There's a Skyrim, which is, I think it's aptly named, like, New Life or something like that. And you don't know what it does?
What does it do?
So it lets you, so instead of, when you start a new game, instead of spawning you at, in the carriage, you get the option to go through the Villanelle start, a quick start, which automatically spawns you at, inside the dungeon with, Halvard, or Halv, I don't remember his name. He's the Imperial guy you're supposed to fight. And, you can spawn as a fisherman, giving you fishing equipment and attire, a bandit, which gives you, like, leather, armor, a sword, and it also randomizes your stats. You can pull your race in there and do it beforehand. It's pretty great.
Well, if this is the wrong reshade, that's fine. I think it looks good. And it makes the game look nice. Not like I'm fucking playing Dusk.
Dusk was great.
Yeah, Dusk was great. I can't wait for fucking the HD version that reanimates all the enemies and gives your weapons alternate textures.
Yeah, I can't seem to
Hmm.
find the fucking place.
Can't wait to see the Wendigo move at 60 frames per second. That's not gonna make me shit my pants.
Probably.
So I'll get more into Stalker in a bit. Sorry that I prefer games with stories as opposed to scenario. Go do a thing.
I hate
Okay, now
those.
go do another thing.
Skyrim isn't like that at all either. Minus the backstory. You're kind of missing a backstory besides the fact that you almost got your fucking head chopped off.
Yeah.
There is actually a backstory behind it. So the whole reason you're there in the first place is because Akatosh preordained you to kill him. It was in your destiny. So he basically Akatosh put a fated person there who was born with the dragon blood. And that's the whole story. So basically, dragons have an innate weakness to time in general, to time magic. And to stop Alduin from devouring the worlds, they ended up using an Elder Scroll that sent people through time, but in the end it cost them their lives. But, as one would know, apart from Axiom, time always has its endpoint. Every story has its endpoint, and eventually
Yeah,
Akatosh will be
all
run
the
out.
factions and areas of the zone
Right?
and the NPCs all have their own backstories, so there is that. It's just kind of